Welcome to our Halloween high noon tea. Halloween is a really fun time around our house, and in the years past, I've had lots of different costumes that I've enjoyed, and one of them was actually Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. But I can tell you that today, I am Nancy Quinn, Mistress of the Mountain. And I have a really fun tea recommendation and a couple of good questions that came in. So let's get started and have some tea. So I have chosen what I think is the perfect tea for Halloween. It's made by a company called Harney, and it's blood orange tea. Isn't it just a beautiful color? Tastes really sweet, has a lot of orange flavor. I promise you, it doesn't taste anything like blood. Not that I would know anything about that, of course. Well, let me get to my first question, which is from Sue in Ohio, and she writes, do you get trick-or-treaters at your house? Well, usually no. We don't have anybody come up here. We're up on a mountain and we don't have a lot of neighbors, so there really isn't anyone to come. But I'll tell you something that we do celebrate Halloween, and that brings me actually to the next question, which is from Kelly in Arizona. And she asked, do you and your family celebrate Halloween? We take our children to a neighborhood in town where they meet their friends. Well, we do it just a little bit differently, and we invite everyone up here. So when my kids were small, I used to throw these really fun parties with lots of decorations. So let me show you what I mean. Here's an example of some of the decorations that we would have in the house. Of course, you have lots of lights and candles, and because you really want to set the mood. And here's some of the food that I would serve. Now, some of it I baked myself, and some of it was actually store-bought just to lessen my workload. So the first thing that I like to make is the baked witch fingers. So take a look at these. They're actually a store-bought cookie with a small almond that is attached with frosting. It's kind of glued onto the end there. And those were always very popular. I also made something called bat dropping cookies, which had some chocolate, and also you can see on the tray there's some Halloween type cookies with little designs and things on them too. Fried witch toes were very popular, and to be honest, it was nothing more than a small snack that we found that was similar to like a fried Cheeto, but I like to put those out for snacking. Now, no Halloween party is complete without zombie eyeballs, and these were just small pieces of cake, little round scoops of cake, and I put red frosting on them and then painted the little eyes on there with other colors of frosting. So snake surprise. Doesn't every party need a snake surprise? This was actually gelatin based, and I found it in a store, and it reminded me of the gummy bears and what their texture was, and it is edible. So some of the kids really liked kind of chopping off a piece of the tail and walking away with it. Now, mummy dog wraps are probably a universal favorite. A lot of people serve those, and they're fun to make, and the kids always just love those. But one of my favorites was the boiled bullfrog warts. And those were just actually pizza rolls, the kind that you find in the store that have that texture on the dough. We also had games. I always felt it was very fun to get everybody involved in doing something. So one of the favorite games that I made up was called Pass the Rat. And we had this huge, big plastic rat. and all the adults and all the kids would stand in a circle. And my husband would start the music, and it was just like musical chairs. And they would pass the rat around to each other. When the music stopped, if you were holding the rat, then you were out of the game. And it was really fun, and everybody liked it. There was a lot of other games that we used to play, and we would make up this sort of goo in a bucket, and we would hide quarters down in there. And we would tell the kids that it was a bucket of worms or something, and they would have to put their hand in to get the quarter. And you'd be surprised what they would stick their hand in there in order to find money. And so they always loved that too.
Chase the almighty dollar.
So we did have a lot of fun at the parties, and the kids all helped me, and my husband helped me. It was a family event. It's a lot easier to do something like this when you happen to be married to Indiana Jones. So now that the children are older, I admit we haven't been doing as much. In fact, I think on this Halloween, we're probably just going to have a treat and watch some Vincent Price movies. So I want to thank you so much for sending in these questions, especially with Sue and Kelly, because it gave me a really fun reason to do a little decorating and get into a costume, and it's been fun for me. So I hope you've enjoyed this time together that we've had with our special Halloween tea party. So I will see you again soon. Oh, one other thing, I did want to put out a very special thank you to my camera girl. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon on another High Noon Tea. Bye-bye.